Fortnite is currently collaborating with The Simpsons, and while it's only a mini season, there's plenty of recognisable locations on the island. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive look at the Springfield nuclear power plant. The power plant is located in the northeast corner of the map, to the east of Cleator's Cornhole and to the north of Mr. Burns' mansion. There's lots of buildings within this P.O.I with rooftop access. There's also lots of places to hide, and some of the rooms are also quite small, so do expect close quarters combat if you're dropping in this location. The main building at the power plant is this glass office block. It's 6 stories high, and you will have access to balconies and the rooftops on various different floors, but the top 2 floors are mainly made up of walkways. On the 4th floor you'll find Mr. Burns' office, and it's exactly how you'd expect it, with the desk at the far end and a large window that leads out to a balcony. You can get access to this balcony by smashing the window. There's also a large fireplace and bookshelves. You'll find on Mr. Burns' desk that there's a button, and pressing this will release the Hounds. These are NPCs that will help you in your fight, but unlike other hireable NPCs, the Hounds will stay in this area. There's also a trapdoor as well, where you can drop down into the hole, and there's a chest that you can loot. While Mr. Burns is not an NPC in this location, there is a portrait of him on the wall, but there's no reference to Smithers. The main building itself has many access points to the roof, or can be used as a sniping spot. As I've mentioned, there's a balcony on Mr. Burns' office, but you can also break the glass on the 6th floor to access the roof area. There's lots of chests scattered around in some of the smaller office rooms, and you can also use the elevator shaft to climb up between the floors instead of taking the stairs. 1 floor down from Mr. Burns' office and we'll see one of the larger offices. There's a chest on the desk in the middle of the room, and to the right of the desk there's a newspaper, the Springfield Shopper, on the wall, the headline of which says "Storm Batters Town." This could be a reference to Fortnite within Fortnite. To the side of the main office is the cafeteria, with access points from inside the main glass office block and the outside. Outside near the cafe there's also a Slurp tanker, and it's the only one of these in this location, so if you are dropping here, it may be to your advantage to break this as soon as possible, either for yourself or for your team, or simply so nobody else can have it. If you do need to reboot your teammates, the reboot van is located on the other side of the main office building, to the right as you enter the main gates. Behind the main office are 2 smaller buildings that are not connected to each other, but they do have fans on the roof. The interior is made to look like a lab, and there's also access to a mezzanine level in these buildings that you can access from either the inside or the outside of the building. Behind this is another 2 buildings, but these do connect to each other. They also have 2 large tankers on the top of them. Inside it's made up of 3 levels, with the top 2 mainly being connected walkways. It's in this building where the reactors are located, and destroying just one of them will start a nuclear meltdown. Also in this area is the NPC of Homer Simpson. You can talk to him, he can open up a rift, or give you healing items. Don't aggro him though, because he'll run at you and try to hit you with a hammer. That being said, Homer's workstation can be found in the connected building. There's various posters spread around the exterior of this P.O.I, which will display 3 different coloured shapes. This is the code that you need to punch in at Homer's workstation during a meltdown. You won't be allowed to do it at any other time. Punching the code in correctly will reward you with some high grade items, but it may be easier to do this in a team game, or make sure the area is not surrounded with people if you're playing solo. The reason being, somebody may realise what you're doing, allow you to punch the code in, take you down, and then steal the loot. Within Springfield, the power plant contains 2 cooling towers, and this is no different within Simpsons Fortnite. You can go into these cooling towers, where you'll find some loot chests and ammo boxes, but do be careful because it's a low gravity area. Since the latest update, there's also a sign that's floating near the cooling tower that advertises Chapter 7. It also gives us a release date and a time of release. Earlier in this mini season, the cooling towers had nothing coming out of them. Nearing the end of the season though, the towers are in constant meltdown mode from a reaction to the pink shard. The power plant itself is on the coastline of this map, so from the floating sign you'll see a gap in the fence and a dirt track that leads you down towards the beach area, where there is a jetty and you can fish for Blinky. There's also various zip lines in this corner of the map, meaning you can get down to the beach or get back up to the power plant rather quickly. Useful as an escape route if you're surrounded. Those were the main buildings in this P.O.I, but there's also several smaller buildings that you can access. They're on both sides of the main buildings we've covered, and there's also one in between the two cooling towers. They mainly look like storage units, but they do contain some loot chests and ammo boxes. On the west side of this P.O.I, near the left cooling tower and at the back of this smaller building, you'll find this back entrance, and in here could spawn a Mr. Burns mystery box. Inside the mystery box could be some higher grade loot or a crusty doll that can start you a quest. Overall, this area has a mix of everything. It does seem like it's a pretty popular area to drop into. There's plenty of buildings that you can climb up if you're somebody who prefers long range, but there's also lots of smaller rooms that can make fights feel more compact, meaning close quarters weapons will be the way to go. As it's less open than some of the other P.O.Is on this map, it means you can come across a number of different types of players. So that was an in-depth look at the Springfield Power Plant within Simpsons Fortnite. Was there anything in there that was new to you that maybe you haven't noticed before? Or is there anything that I've missed? Let me know your thoughts on this area in the comments, and stick with the channel because we'll be covering the other named landmarks in future videos.